John's father, Frank, was a firefighter who died fighting a fire 30 years ago. For years, he and his mother depended on each other for support. One day, a friend brought his children to visit and the children found an old radio in the warehouse. Surprisingly, it was still working after being powered on. John discovered that the person was talking about news from 30 years ago. For example, the serial killer case that specifically targeted nurses and the ball game, etc. Before he could figure out who he was, the call was disconnected. That night, a rare aurora borealis appeared in the sky. The next day, John had almost forgotten about the radio. On the anniversary of his father's death, his mother pulled out old photos and mentioned his father's hobbies. John fell silent. He and his father only shared 6 years of memories together, and he still clearly remembered the nickname he had given him, Little Captain. The radio then rang again, and the person on the other end was excited to hear the football score John had casually mentioned the previous day come true. During the call, John heard the person say to the child, "Little Captain, Daddy will be with you later." He was startled and asked the person's name. When he learned it was Frank, John instantly understood. This was his father from 30 years ago. John hurriedly reminded Frank that he had died fighting a fire 30 years ago and that a warehouse fire would occur the next day, suggesting he take a different route to save his life. Frank initially disbelieved him, even thinking he was a scammer, and hung up. But the next day, the baseball game played out just as John had predicted, and the fire department received an emergency call about the warehouse fire. Frank was stunned, but he still rushed to the scene elsewhere. John was drinking with a colleague. As he drank, decades of memories flooded back into his mind. His father hadn't taken the seemingly safer route, instead falling down a slide into the river. He had survived and had spent a happy childhood with him. John asked a friend for confirmation, and the friend confirmed that his father had died of cancer 10 years prior. Only then did he become convinced that he had saved his father. After Frank's rescue, he went home and carved "Captain, I'm still alive" on his desk. 30 years later, John saw the handwriting and excitedly turned on the radio to reunite with his father. John asked his father to smoke less.
I love you, son.
I love you too, Dad. I've missed you so much.
After hanging up the radio, Frank went to the hospital to let his wife know he was safe. At this time, his wife happened to see the intern using the wrong medicine and went to help. He just said "I love you" and left. 30 years later that night, John had another memory in his mind, the death of his mother when he was 6 years old.